Hello, my name is Trish Bartley, and I want to introduce you to some very short, very straightforward mindfulness tools that have come about as a response to the pandemic. These COVID-19 practices have been developed for you by Mayfly, a project that's focused on offering brief mindfulness to all grades and disciplines of health and social care staff. We do this in order to introduce you to short, safe, and simple mindfulness practice. Many other experienced practitioners and clinicians have been involved and have contributed valuable advice and suggestions. They've been led by Dr. Alice Cole-King, and we're very grateful to them. All of us involved really hope that these specially designed and bespoke practices will be of some use in supporting those of you working on the front line of this pandemic, whether you're in hospitals, hospices, the community, care homes, or delivering essential local services. We depend on you all, and we value you greatly. So in terms of understanding why we've developed these practices at this time, it might help to appreciate what you probably already know very well, and that's that our minds are constantly active. We may move away from the present, back into the past or forward into the future. And it's human nature to worry about future tasks or what we've just done. In times of crisis, we may also feel anxious and even overwhelmed at times. It can help to find ways to come back to the present. So we recommend you try these simple mindfulness practices that, as I said, have been developed by Mayfly with a team of practitioners and clinicians, just to give you a basic introduction. So also to explain that it helps a lot to encourage the habit of these practices. So there are 3 very brief practices, and we hope that they might help to support you. But as with developing all new skills, you'll find you'll get more out of them and you'll get better at them with time and practice. So if you can rehearse them when you're not under pressure, you may remember to use them and find them more helpful when you are. Important not to be fooled by their simplicity. Many have found them invaluable in very difficult situations. So we hope you'll build on these and try out others if you'd like. So the other thing is to encourage you to experiment and adapt. So each practice described has a suggested length, a method and a focus, and also an activity that's linked to it. But please adapt to whatever works best for you. Have a go, and then maybe ask yourself, well, what does this offer me, if anything? And if it helps, please keep on using it. So the first practice is called a first aid practice. And when you're used to it and when you've established it, it may only take you a few moments. So you might think about doing it perhaps before starting to don PPE, or perhaps after fully doffing PPE, maybe immediately before or after hand washing. What's important is not to use it during the donning or the doffing of PPE, because your full attention is needed for this task. So the practice itself, placing your attention into the sensations of contact between your feet and the floor. Perhaps moving into sensations in toes, balls of the feet, heels at the back. Simply experiencing gravity and the solid beneath your feet, grounded. And then we move to the second practice, and we've called this one a pause. And again, once you're established and you're familiar with the practice, you may find it only takes a few seconds, or obviously longer if you choose to do it for longer. We would suggest that this might be a practice that you might do when you're having a drink of water, when perhaps you're having your morning cuppa before starting work, or perhaps when you're managing to grab a breath of fresh air. So ideally this should be done when standing, but again, it's up to you to adapt to what suits you. To the practice itself. Feeling your feet on the floor. Weight going down. Height going up. Feeling your whole body from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. And then pause. Maybe take a breath. Taste your drink. So now we move to the third and last practice. So this one we've called a space to come back. And again, once you've learnt it, it's not difficult, but once you've kind of got the hang of it, perhaps it'll take you a minute or two, or you may choose to do it for a bit longer. We wonder whether this might be a good practice to do as you're making your transition home, perhaps on public transport, the train or the bus or the tram. And maybe do it when you're wanting to find a quiet moment or finding a quiet place at home, perhaps outside or perhaps on your balcony. So here's the practice. Feet on the floor. Weight going down, with the solid of the ground beneath you. And then height going up. Just that sense of your spine lifting up through the back. And then aware of the space around you. And perhaps checking in. Maybe asking yourself, how am I right now? And then bringing some attention to your breath. Or if you prefer, to your feet on the floor, on the ground. So simply resting for a breath or two, for a moment or two. And in all the distractions, just keep coming back to your breath or to your feet on the floor. And before you finish the practice, taking a moment to appreciate what you and your colleagues have done today. I wish you well with these practices. I hope that they'll prove to be helpful.